he's in trouble with the government. If he says, let her go, then they say, see, this man is not a man of God. Because of the Torah says that the adulterer and the adulteress must be stoned to death. So again, heads I win, tails you lose. Both ways, poor Jesus loses. So what does he do? Again, he's also a Jew. Allah has also given him that intelligence. So he says, let him who's free from sin cast the first stone. Anybody who's sinless, you haven't done any crime, you didn't do haram, zina, then you start. And then he started scribbling in the sand. The Christians don't know what he was scribbling. People were watching over his shoulder to find out what he's scribbling. Actually, he was scribbling combinations of names. Mary and Joseph. This guy was looking over the shoulder, is Joseph. And he had something to do with Mary. So it says Mary and Joseph. It reminds him, it is me. Away he goes. Then Solomon and Bathsheba. So the guy was looking over the shoulder of Solomon and he had something to do with Bathsheba. So away he goes. By the time he's finished scribbling these combinations, the whole lot of them were gone. Because they were all zanis, they were all adulterers. So he solved the problem. Now what are we to do with the Jews? So ingenious. What do you want? Conflict or conciliation? I said, all right, you can have it. Let them have it as they want. If they say, you must speak first, I said, all right, I will speak first. Alhamdulillah. You know, I said, look, if Allah has put you in the right, if you have got the right this thing, you don't have anything to worry about. So we had a debate with Dr. Lutton of the Israeli embassy in Pretoria and myself. It was a fantastic meeting. It was videotaped. But you see, when we started this meeting, it started with a small hall, and there were hundreds milling outside. They want to get in and they can't get in. So the chairman said, look, we'll have to move from here into a bigger hall. So everybody started moving to the bigger hall. And the camera people, they also had to carry the things around, and they just put it somewhere and they started shooting. And behind us was a long curtain, and this curtain was flapping. And these things here, you know, they're so sensitive, but they're effective to any type of light change. So the camera is also doing that. As our eye would do, these lenses are also doing the same thing. So the film was not so grand, so we didn't promote it, but it was a fantastic meeting that we had. However, what is the case about the Jews and the Arabs? What is the problem? You see, the Arabs, when this problem started, and the problem really started around 1918. Prior to 1918, the Arabs, they didn't know that they were a nation. You see, in a primitive stage of man, the man thinks, well, he's a human being, everybody is a human being. You come along into the land next door to you, if you comes and settles down there, ahlan wa sahlan, you know, the Arab would say, family in plain, this is all Allah's, the earth is the Lord's, and the goodness thereof, everything is Allah's, you can enjoy, come. So in 1908, the Jews established Tel Aviv. One of the most important cities in Israel today is Tel Aviv. They started building Tel Aviv in 1908. What did the Arabs say? Nothing. Our cousins, you know, they're building a city there, you know, let them carry on, mashallah. You know, they're doing a good job. Then some poor Arabs, poor among all communities, you know, they try and take a little advantage. If they can steal your sheep, your goat, they'll do that. Whether he is a Hindu poor man or a Christian poor man, the poor man is always out to pinch something or the other. So if an Arab went and pinched some goats or sheep of the Jews, and the Jews had vigilantes, you know, like you see these films, cowboys and crooks. You know how the cowboys, you know, with the gang, they go and run down the crooks. Same type of thing the Jews were doing with the Arabs. They used to corner them up and give them a good bashing, you know, in gangs, vigilantes, you call them. What did the Arab say? Nothing. He said, you see, my brother, the Arab says, my brother, he went and stole my cousin's sheep and goat, so he gave me a good whacking, he deserved it. They were not thinking in terms of Arab and Jew. See, this is my brother, and that's my cousin. My brother had no right to steal my cousin's sheep. So if he did it, and these guys catch him and give him a good whacking, he deserved it. They were not racist. They were not thinking in terms of race, Arab or Jew. No, no, no. It was one human being to another. This was the relationship. In 1918, Weizmann, a Jew, a very brilliant scientist, he helped the British government in some invention about gunpowder or something like that. And as a reward, the British government, they said, now we will give you Palestine as a Jewish home. This is what he wanted. They said, right, we give it to you. Palestine as a home for the Jews. Now the Arabs wake up. They said, look, man, this is our home. These guys will take it away. So they started rumbling, grumbling, but unorganized, backward people, uneducated people. So they were making noise, making some little trouble here, little trouble there, and it carried on. But the Jews were getting in more and more Jews, sophisticated people from Germany, from France, from Poland, from Russia. They had been brushing their wits against the Westerner. They come along among the simpletons, fools. These are our brothers. They're like fools. You know, what the white men came here, what they found the Bushmen and the Hottentot and the Bantu, similar condition they found the Arabs there. So they started their techniques and they started getting in more and more and more. And the Arabs started making a little bigger noise and a little bigger noise until 1948. In 1948, the Jews, they started bombing the British. King David Hotel, they bombarded and they killed so many people. Count Bernadette, they killed him. Some British soldiers, they captured them and they hanged them. This Begin fellow, Begin, he did it. So the British government offered a reward of $47,000, dead or alive, for Begin, the ex-Prime Minister of Israel. And the British threw in the towel. And these people, they had the experience. They were in the World War II, World War I. They had 1 million soldiers, 1 million Jews from all over the world, experienced people, and they knocked hells into our brethren, and they captured the land. They had certain peace apportioned to them, but they went and the Arabs started making trouble, and unequipped. The Egyptians came there and they got a good whacking, and the Jordanians came got a good whacking, and our Jewish cousins, they did the job. They captured more than what was supposed to take. But in the previous 1400 years of Islam, or 1000 years of Islam, the Jews were living among the Muslims. In Spain, when the Muslims conquered Spain, the Jews were working side by side and they benefited from the fruits of the Muslim conquest. The golden age of the Jew was the golden age of the Muslim. The best time that they ever had was under the Muslims in Spain. And for 1,000 years, the Christians have been persecuting the Jews. Every Easter, they kill the Jews. They said, these are Christ killers. They kill our gods, kill them. And they killed the men, and they did what they liked with the women, and they burned their homes, and they fled. One pogroms after another. This country, in Germany, in Poland, in France, everywhere there were pogroms against the Jews. Every Easter, the Christians reminded themselves that these are the killers of our gods. Kill them. And they massacred them. And they fled. And they fled to Muslim lands. And the Muslim says, Ahlan wa sahlan. You know, you are a cousin, Father Abraham, you have 2 wives, Sarah and Hajara. You are the children of Sarah. You are the children of Hajara. Oh, come, live. And they went and lived. Peace. In 1,000 years, there had not been a single riot against the Jews in any Muslim land. An individual Jew might have killed an individual Arab. And an Arab might have killed a Jew. But as a race, as a people, kill the Jews? Never. No riot in any Muslim land in 1,000 years. Trouble only starts when now they want to capture this as their own national home. They are going to rob our brethren of their heartlands, homelands. Now in 1926, a young Jew by the name of Leopold Weiss, as a reporter for a German newspaper called Frankfurter Zeitung, he visits Jerusalem, and he's a Jew. So the Jews were having a meeting with Weizmann from England. He is really the father of this Jewish state, Israel, Weizmann. So in the meeting, they had a plan on the big table, and they were marking out what are you going to do, and we'll take this away, and we'll take that. Among the Jews, they're planning, scheming. Ben Gurion was there. All these are young people, planning, scheming. Maybe Begin was also there. So this young Jew, he had a conscience. So he says, while this discussion is being carried on, he said, I'm reading from his book, he said, I had the disturbing impression that even he, Weizmann, like most of the other Zionists, was inclined to transfer the moral responsibility for all that was happening in Palestine to the outside world. The moral, for all the trouble that was brewing, they say, British is responsible, the Germans are responsible, but not themselves. They are immaculate, masoom, sinless people. This encouraged me to break through the differential hush with which all the other people present were listening to him. They were all. Why is one